Hutchings here, not a licensed physician, not giving medical advice, purely educational and informational and entertainment. And a couple weeks ago, I was on the metro, and I saw something interesting in a bottle, and asked a question about it, and it turned out I was correct about the contents of the bottle of liquid. And then I proceeded to talk with the girl. And she studies biology, so I mentioned some biology stuff and got on the topic of telomeres. Well, actually, she thought I was talking about telomeres. I was talking about something else. And then she's like, well, telomeres, if you make them longer, they're going to cause cancer. And I just heard the same thing in a YouTube video. And I've heard the same thing from other people. But the interesting thing is, well, in theory, it makes no sense. And what's even cooler than that is in studies, it doesn't cause cancer. It's really an amazing fallacy of logic, like how anyone could come to the conclusion that preventing telomere shortening, or by lengthening telomeres, that you will cause cancer. Remember, studies do not show this. Let's think about why that is for a moment. What is cancer? Well, let's go back to what causes cancer. Is it long telomeres? When your cells keep living, that's what cancer is? No, it's not what cancer is. Oh, is cancer just cells that's repeating the same thing I just said. Well, cancer is defective cells because of lots of gene mutations in the DNA, which leads to defective cells that do defective things that they're not supposed to do. And one characteristic is they tend to live a very long time while doing all of those defective, harmful things. Now, I think this is overly obvious, but the key component of cancer is the defective things it's doing. Not the fact that it can live a long time. And remember, living a long time is not the same as dividing too much. It's not the same as having no barriers as to where it goes. It's not the same as to, like, it's supposed to grow to fit this thing and stop. It's not the same as it growing too big. Long telomeres, long lifespan, just means that it doesn't die off after a certain point. That's a completely different thing. And if you have normal cells, like say my skin cell, right here, there's a lot of skin cells underneath my finger, but these skin cells underneath my finger, if they live really long, well, they live really long. There's something more I mean to be saying? No, there isn't. If they live really long, they live really long. There is one catch. Obviously, the longer something is in existence, the more chances it has to get DNA damage and mutations. It's not that the telomeres being longer is going to cause DNA mutations, but obviously, if each of your cells, let's say, has let's just make up some numbers, a 1 in 1,000 chance, or let's say it has a 1 in a million chance each of your cells each day to get a DNA mutation. Let's keep in mind that like 99% of the mutations are fixed. The longer you go on, the higher that 1 in a million chance becomes. Well, I mean, it doesn't become probably higher, it's just that it's 1 in a million, plus 1 in a million the next day, 1 in a million the next day, 1 in a million the next day. So it starts stacking up. Yeah, so it becomes bigger. So if a cell can live 1,000 years, there's a lot higher chance that it's going to have a mutation in that time than if it died after 50 years. It's not a bad cell. It's just like you. If you lived 1,000 years, the chance that you're going to trip and fall and hit your head and die is higher than if you live 40 years. But, and I've made a video on this actually, I just remembered. It's called something like What is Cancer? What isn't cancer? But making cells live longer is not cancer. It's not the same as cancer. It does not cause cancer. It just means that there is a longer lifespan, so there's a statistically higher probability that someday those cells could get cancer. Yeah. So we don't really need to worry about lengthening our telomeres that much. I know there could be some chance that certain cells are supposed to die off when you're 60 and they keep living, and then that little bit of extra probability between 60 and 90, let's say, of them getting mutations actually becomes important, and you get... Life's not perfect. You want to live extra long? Well, that means there's a higher chance of things happening. I would rather live extra long and accept the possibility that that means I have extra years to get cancer than to just die early and go, well, at least I didn't get cancer. But yes, lengthening telomeres does not directly cause cancer. It just increases lifespan, which means there's more time to possibly get cancer. And I'm going to make a YouTube short on this, but I've talked about epitalon to lengthen telomeres. Another method is hyperbaric oxygen chamber. It's also been shown to lengthen telomeres. I actually need to book a session to go in here. I've been busy lately, haven't gone in, but I want to go in soon. I think that might be the first time in a long time I've used my left hand to do this. And just so you know, I don't even know why I do this. It's just I feel like I should do something at the end of the video. I don't believe that you should always be peaceful, because that can just be weakness and cowardice, because you're afraid to do anything. But despite that, I just go like that at the end of my videos. Maybe someone will like it or something, I don't know.